So it is time to do a fitness fragrance face off with everyone's favourite note. Probably best to tell everyone, Harry. Vanilla. We are doing vanilla. Yes, good morning. It is that time of the week again. Fitness fragrance face off time. So if you haven't seen these before, essentially what I do is I do a morning workout. So I'm going to go for a run, walk to the gym, do a gym workout, walk back, all while reviewing some fragrances. And we're going to rank them on 5 categories today. So we're going to look at the price / value for money. Versatility is how much you can use them in different situations. Projection, how much I notice them during my runs. So obviously you just sprayed them on me. How much they fill up the room. So I'll do a room spray test later on. See, so if someone came in, essentially, would they notice the fragrance? Compliment factor, which one do I think is the best for compliments, and also its longevity, where I'll spray miles before I go to the gym. 3 hours later, which fragrances can I still detect? We're just going to basically face 3 fragrances off against each other today. 3 points for the winner of each round, 2 for one that comes second, and then 1 point for the one that comes last in the round. So, as I just mentioned, we are talking about vanilla today. Vanilla is the most popular note in perfumery, men's and women's fragrances. It's in everything. Tends to be in the dry down or the base notes of many fragrances because it's a slightly heavier note. Very much perfect for the winter time, nights out, date night, all those things. It's a very modern note, but it's been used for years and it's just getting more and more popular. I think it's probably one of those notes that's never going to go off. It's never going to be one people dislike at all. I love it in food as well, let's be honest, who doesn't? So what 3 fragrances have we got today? What 3 fragrances I just spray on myself? Well, we've kind of got some different ones with different nuances. So this one here is a clone of Tobacco Vanille. This is Havana. This is the cheapest fragrance today. Also, we'll talk about the prices later on. But yeah, this one utilises vanilla with tobacco. Very much more vanilla heavy though if you smell Tobacco Vanille or a clone. But yeah, they essentially, the 3 I've got here, they utilise the vanilla in a different way. So this one here, middle of the range one, Alfalfa Throb. So it's a Lush collaboration with Wicked. And yeah, this one essentially is more sort of a fougere barbershop fragrance, and then it's got that vanilla in the background, but things like oak moss are in this rather than things like tobacco. So more woody, more green, more sort of barbershop type fragrance. And then the last one here is sort of the higher end vanilla fragrance. This is called Selvigny by Maison Tahiti. I never know how to pronounce this name. This one's more like your real summer type vanilla fragrance. More, it's got aquatic sea notes in it, mineral notes with that vanilla. The vanilla again being the dominant thing. So these are all vanilla heavy fragrances, but just with very slight differences, very slight nuances between them. And cannot wait to review them today. Cannot wait to give them a go. So what I'm going to do, quickly get myself stretched, get myself changed, and we're going to go out and do the first 2 categories. We're going to look at price / value for money and also versatility. See you out there. Wow, what a lovely morning. I don't know if you can see that moon there in the distance along the beach. It's not even windy. It is chilly though, but that makes it perfect for reviewing vanilla fragrances. So price / value for money for these. So let's go on the cheapest one first, as you would have just seen. The Noted Aromas Havana, the Tobacco Vanille clone. It's about £29.99, so £30. All their clones tend to be £30. Then you've obviously got Lush Alfalfa Throb. That one's about £40. Normally it's been on sale, so it's been £20. And then Selvigny by Maison Tahiti. That one's a little bit more. That one's £90. That's what I paid for it as a general sort of rule of thumb price. So what one do I think is the best value for money? Well, look, I always talk about scent quality here, and obviously how much you can use a fragrance for it being the best value for money, how strong it is. All those things really get factored in. And I think we need to talk about that in context with vanilla today when we talk about quality, because that's what the face-off is. Look, the Tobacco Vanille clone, Havana, is a brilliant clone of it. It is a really, really good clone. And in the air, if someone's walking by you, you wouldn't necessarily notice if it's a clone or the original fragrance. That being said, up close, when I'm spending it on my arm like this, I can notice a real quality. I can tell that vanilla's a little bit more synthetic than the original. But if the original Tobacco Vanille didn't exist and this was the only fragrance of its kind out there for £30, you'd go, that's amazing. You really would. You say, what an amazing fragrance this is for that price. So it has certainly got good value for money in that sense. Alfalfa Throb, it really surprises me, that one from Lush. Or Alfalfa Throb, I still don't say it right. But that one surprised me because I also had Lush doing simplicity well. This one's got a lot of complexity for Lush. And it's certainly not just a boring vanilla scent. There's green notes in this. There's, you've certainly got a bit of, thank you, you've certainly got a bit of like oak moss and some woodsy notes, and it adds a lot of complexity. And my dad, I sprayed it on him, and he was like, oh, what's in that? And he looked at the ingredients on the back. Normally you don't need to do that with lush fragrances because they're so easy to detect. They do 3 or 4 notes and they just make it smell really nice and clean and simplistic. And then the final one, Selvigny, very expensive, much more summery, C notes, high quality vanilla, almost has this coconutty vibe to it with that C notes mixing with the vanilla, and that's your summer one out of the 3, and it certainly packs a punch as well. But I'm going to give the 3 points just because it's so different to the Lush one. I don't think of green notes mixing with vanilla very often in fragrances, and it's giving this nice fresh mentholy vibe, which means you can use it in many situations. We'll obviously talk about versatility next. And the change of pace from Lush, and the fact they use such good quality oils, for £40, that's brilliant. That is really, really good. And I'd happily pay that again, especially for a collaboration scent, which normally they charge a bit more for something that's not quite as good. I'm then going to give second to Maison Titté Selvigny, just because vanilla is really hard to pull off in the summer. And they've utilised it really well with these marine sea notes to make a nice summer scent, but one that's got enough strength in the vanilla that you can wear throughout the whole year, because it's got quality oils. It adds an element of sophistication, a bit more grown up, not as juvenile, not as synthetic, and you could dress it up a little bit more for that reason, while also wearing it casually in the summer. And then that leaves, unfortunately, the Tobacco Vanille clone, Notes of Rome Savannah last. There's a lot of Tobacco Vanille clones out there, and there's a lot that are a bit cheaper than this one, and I think they just smell just as good. A bit synthetic on that vanilla again, but maybe, just for that base money a little bit better, so I wouldn't necessarily buy that one over it. So yeah, so 3 points this round goes to Father Throb from Lush. On to versatility. Which one's the best phrase for dressing up, dressing down, different ages, different occasions, different seasons, all those things? Well, I think probably the best way to go at this is to sort of look at them one by one. So let's start with the Tobacco Vanille clone, Notes of Rome Savannah. Look, when you think of Tobacco Vanille, you think statement scent, don't you really? It's so high quality, date night, that you can certainly dress it up as well. Personally, I prefer more smoky fragrances to dress up. This is much more heavy on the vanilla, but it's such a mass pleasing scent, and the quality means suit and tie, full winter time, but also casually for yourself on Christmas Day with the family. It's a great scent. It just reminds you of the holiday season, so it really does those job well. And what I like with this one is, look, it's certainly not as strong, it's not as high quality as the original Tobacco Vanille, and it's not as cloying in that sense, which I think gives this one a bit of extra edge in terms of versatility compared to the original, because it's not as heavy, and you can then wear it in springtime. Look, I don't think it's right for exercise or the gym or anything like that, but I do think it has a bit more signature scent potential because of that. Slight less strength, slight less quality, just makes it a little bit easier to pull off, certainly casually as well. Then we go on to El Father Throb, so the Lush one. But this is very much a casual scent. This one isn't statement at all for me. I think green notes, things like oak moss are certainly transition seasons, but when you look at the hallmarks of Lush, you go past the Lush, it's all bright colours, silly names, gimmicky bottles. They are meant to be casual, but it does have the quality. You cannot, again, fault the quality of this one, and it is a little bit more complex compared to other Lush scents, but I don't think it's going to cut through the cold. I don't think it's suit and tie, but I think if I take the sprays down today, it'd be fine for the gym, fine for office environments. And yes, so in that sense, it is pretty versatile. I think it's going to work most ages. I think it's completely unisex. Older gentlemen may not like it as much. Again, apologies to my dad here, but I got him to try yesterday. He's 60 this year. He thought it was a little bit sweeter, a little bit more suited to women, and he didn't like the vanilla as much because it wasn't mixed with anything that's a bit more masculine, maybe like a nice vetiver or smoky edge. Some sort of pepper, let's say, that could add a bit of spice, a bit more masculinity to it. And then obviously the last one, Selvigny by Maison Titté. But this one is high quality, and it's more of a summer-based fragrance when you look at the C notes mixed with the vanilla. But it's so strong. It's super, super strong, this one. All the Maison Titté ones I've tried are strong. You wouldn't want to wear it on a hot summer's day. Summer evening, great. It's got that coconutty smell to it. And to me, that doesn't scream dress up, dress down, too much. It's kind of in the middle between the two. because it's so heavy, I wouldn't want to dress it down. But because it's that sun cream, so I don't think, I really want to wear that over suit and tie. But it is very pleasant. Turn your sprays down again, you'll certainly get noticed with it. So if you're looking for confidence in that sense of versatility, it'll do that pure strength. But it is more sophisticated, more grown up, and obviously you've got to factor in price. For someone at entry level, a bit younger, this is too much of a step up. So I'm going to put that one last in terms of versatility. What comes second? Do you know what? I'm going to put the Elphaba Throb one second. It is definitely more of a casual fragrance. The woodiness and the fact it's got green notes in it, mean you can certainly wear it in transition seasons. That means it's never going to be wrong in any occasion, but it really screams more casual than what you really want to dress up. And where I think the Noted Aroma one is good, again, you've got to factor in price a little bit when we talk about versatility. It's an affordable price to smell like a statement scent, but it's almost more wearable than that statement scent because it's not as strong, not as cloying, and that means you can wear it in the sort of springtime with more casual clothes and as a dress up, so it's got enough to dress it up. So the 3 points for this round goes to the Noted Aroma Savannah. Run done about 14 miles. It's 9:15 now, so it's time to do projections. I'm going to do a room spray test. If you haven't seen this before, essentially I'm going to spray my room 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with each fragrance. And we're just seeing essentially which one fills the room up the most. So if a friend, family member, a colleague came in, how much would they notice it? And in that meantime, I'll give it 10 minutes, just let the fragrances just fill the air. And then I'll do 3 on that one just because it's a bit stronger. But yeah, we'll go downstairs, have a cup of tea. It'll be 10 minutes time by the time I come back up. We'll just see which one's the strongest. But yeah, we'll head down and I'll talk about projection on my run and how much I notice the fragrances. Oh, that chamomile tea. So projection during my run. How much did I notice the fragrances during my workout? To be honest, not very much, which I'm a little bit disappointed by because you expect with vanilla, super strong scent, normally lasts a little bit longer. But I do think a lot of that's because I've had a bit of a cold, so my nose has been running a lot, slightly blocked. Because when I actually stopped, when I was doing my stretching, I noticed 2 fragrances in particular. One was Salvini, the other one was the Lush one, Elphaba Throb. So yeah, didn't get any of the Havana, the tobacco vanilla clone. I think it might do all right though in the room spray test because tobacco and vanilla, quite a good combination, quite sticky notes. I think it might do quite well with this. But yeah, really not sure. One thing I'm pretty certain of though, they will fill the room. Got a feeling Salvini though will just edge this round. So yeah, we'll finish this and we'll head upstairs and then we can give a score on projection. Okay, we are in my room then. So what can I smell? Well, I can definitely smell fragrances. I said Salvini would win this round. My nose is still blocked, you see it's still running. But the one I can definitely smell is Elphaba Throb. 100% it is that because I'm getting that nice green oak mossy vibe, and maybe it's more the green notes here which are mixing. I thought the tobacco might kick through a little bit more, but maybe those green notes, which I've always said can be quite aggressive, particularly in their transition season sense. But I always think green fragrances, I don't really want to wear them indoors. Maybe in combination with the vanilla here, that has really just kicked through. Very pleasant. I really like it. The vanilla is certainly more dominant than the green notes in this, and it has to win this round. And I'm just going to have to give Salvini second because that was the fragrance I noticed. I haven't noticed tobacco vanilla and the Havana from Noted Aromas at all. So yeah, that one falls apart. What I'm going to do now is spray miles before I go to the gym, walk to the gym, and then we'll talk about complement factor on the way. And obviously in 3 hours time, we can then do our longevity test. So yeah, let's do that. We'll talk about complement factor on the way down. Okay, now I've just found where my hat is. I was looking for my hat all along. I've just seen it on my phone. Glad I've got it because it is freezing. It's a complement factor. So which one of the 3 do I think is the best compliment getting fragrance? Well, I think when you buy a vanilla scent as opposed to maybe like a blue fragrance, you kind of are thinking more for those date night statement scent sort of fragrances, one that's going to be a bit more playful rather than just something that could be used in many occasions. So it's more for those intimate settings, more seductive, more alluring, and that's what I think you need to go with this one. So I'm going to say for last place for this one, it's going to be Elphaba Throb, because as I was kind of touching on earlier, I think Lush sprays in general are a bit more casual daily wear, and that's what I get with this one that's quite versatile. You can use in those transition seasons, and it's just very pleasant, it's very nice. signature scent worthy, but without being a real statement. They're more casual type fragrances rather than dress ups at Lush, so that's why that one's coming last. And then it leaves me with the two. Do you go for quality, or do you go for something that's cloning something that is a statement? I'm going to say second place here is the Maison Tahiti one, the Selvigny, and again it kind of just goes back to it. It's a sun creamy vibe thing, and it does feel like more of a daily wear, you know, cold weather type phrase, or summer evening with a casual shirt on. It feels more for those, even though it's got the quality to dress up, it does feel like that scent profile of sort of a sun cream smell is more summer holidays, more with your mates, and it will cut through the cold. It'll be noticed by a lot of people. It's strong. But again, as I was touching on earlier, I think vanilla is more for those sort of intimate settings, and there's nothing intimate about this one. It is cloying, it is strong, and that's why I'm going to give the winners this round Tobacco Vanille Clone, the Havana, just because I think Notes of Romans have done a brilliant clone of it, really. So the vanilla's not really super natural smelling, but it's very pleasant, and again, in the air, people aren't going to notice any different, and they're going to want to find out where that's coming from. And it just is that cosy one. I said Tobacco Vanille is the type of scent where you can wear it for yourself as well, and I just think on an evening in, maybe watching something on the date night, something like that, that's where it's going to work best. And I just think it's got that real quality, that classiness, and it's not something that's overused in the sort of way like a Dior Sauvage is. So for that reason, that's going to get the 3 points. Of course, then you get mentioned at the gym and they can tell which one is the other three. That one will be the ultimate winner of this round, but for now, Notes of Romans Havana gets 3 points. They're all still there, but the strongest is definitely Maison Tahiti. Super strong, but it's really quite smoky now, the one from Lush. I'd say really smoky, the Alfalfa Throb. None of them feel quite right for the gym, but yeah, as long as you tone your sprays down, it's not the worst in the world. But yeah, it's time to have a shower and see which one survives the heat. Okay, so it has just gone midday. It's just gone 12 o'clock. I didn't get any compliments, as you can imagine, at the gym. But anyway, let's smell this. So that one's Selvigny. That's Tobacco Vanille Clone. And that's Alpha Throb. Now they're all really good. I have to say the longevity on all three of these is great, and they're going to get you through the day. And you expect that with vanilla. As we said, vanilla tends to be a base note. It's a base note in these three fragrances. It's got great staying power. That's why it's so popular. It's lovely and sweet, and I quite happily say they'll all get me through the day. The one that I noticed the most during my workout, as I said, was undoubtedly the Maison Tahiti Selvigny. And it is still the strongest. The only thing with it, and this is my only criticism of the ones I've had, because I've had Cacao Sweat, I think my brother's had one called Velvet Coffee, something along those lines. The Maison Tahiti ones are super strong. They are beast mode, but they're almost to the point they've become cloying. And because this is kind of that coconutty smell, this one becomes very cloying, and it's almost like I'd rather wash it off now. Whereas Alpha Throb actually smells really nice. It's become a bit more smoky and a bit more pleasant. It's gone in more to the green than the vanilla, and I actually quite like that. You still get the vanilla, you still detect the vanilla in the, you know, the background of this scent. And then the Tobacco Vanille one, as I said, if it was the original Tobacco Vanille, just smelling it there, you know, it would be a little bit stronger. It probably would win this round, but it isn't as strong. But it is there, and it's, you know, I only very briefly sniffed it then and didn't have to find it at all. So I'm going to put last place purely on the fact it's just not as strong. It's a shame to say that, but the Havana one, the clone, because I think there are some other clones out there from, you know, the Essence Full, or there's one from, I think it's called Kajal Fragrances, but it's called Tobacco Vanilla. It's fantastic. It's really good. It's about £12. Get it on eBay, and it lasts just as well. And then probably second place, and look, it is undoubtedly the strongest for longevity. I'm going to put the Maison Tahiti Selvigny, so I'm going to say it now. That is the strongest one. If you want pure beast mode vanilla, go for that one. Absolutely fine. But that suntan lotion type smell, I don't think I'd want to wear that all day. And I think for everyone else, I'd find it offensive. So that it wins in terms of strength, but I think that longevity might be a negative for some people more than the positive. You certainly need to tone your sprays down And then that leaves first place then to Elf the Frog, the body spray from Lush, because it's got that nice smoky greenness in it that just feels a little bit more wearable, and it's still going to get you through the day. And ultimately, do you need it to be any stronger than that? If something's going to get you through the day anyway, I don't think it needs to be any stronger. So I'm going to give that one the 3 points. I think it'd be the most mass pleasing of the three, or Tobacco Vanille smell would probably be the most mass pleasing. But I think this one does so many jobs. I think it just will, it'll tick more boxes for you if you're going to the gym straight after, if you're dressing up, dressing down. You'll get you through the day with those different situations as well, with more than enough longevity. So yeah, when we head back, I'll count up all the scores and yeah, give my overall thoughts and see which one's the winner. I've got no idea which one has won today. We are back. Finally back. I was listening to a podcast though, so it was all okay. So yes, I finally totaled up all the scores for this round. It was a really tough one today because it felt like some were winning a round and then they were coming last. They weren't getting the sort of middle ground of it. But I do want to say before we go into it, they're three really top quality vanilla heavy scents. If you like vanilla as a note, try these because they're different. They're not, if you've got all three of them, they're certainly not redundant. As I mentioned earlier, there's plenty more going on. If you look at the Lush one, even if you just look at the bottle here, you can tell it's a green type fragrance as well just from it. It's obviously a collaboration from Wicked. When you have this Maison Tahiti one, Selvigny, this is much more beachy sun cream, summer type vibe, sea notes, aquatic notes in it. Definitely more, fancy shirt, I'd say, on a summer's evening. And then Havana's obviously just a clone of Tobacco Vanille, but again, more of a winter nighttime dress up, but also a cozy fragrance in its own right as well, but a bit more formal than one like this that's certainly more casual. So 30 points are technically on offer because there's 6 points per round, 5 rounds, 3 points for the winner per round. So we do have a joint second today. Unfortunately, yes, they both come second. It's these two. It's the cheapest one, Noted Aroma Savannah and Selvigny. So these two have come last. So what did they sort of get marked down on? Well, actually, if we look at the Havana one, first of all, to start with, the clone of Tobacco Vanille, it didn't actually get 2 points in any round. It either got 3 points or 1 point. And it kind of got marked down on its value for money. Again, I'm really just saying that because clone fragrances in general, you can get lots of clones of Tobacco Vanille. This is just another one. I don't think it's any better than some of them, but it's actually one of the higher end prices for a clone fragrance, £30 for 100ml. That Noted Aromas do great fragrances, but I think the Essence will do as well. It did well on its versatility. Again, that's where it did actually do probably better than anything I expected today, because it's not quite as strong as the original Tobacco Vanille. You can wear it a little bit more through the year as well. But yeah, it just fell down on maybe that little bit of performance and value for money as a result. I think you can get other clones for it. Then this one, Selvigny. What did this one sort of get marked down? We got a lot of 2 point rounds, but it wasn't. I think the thing with this one, that it's really strong, and I almost feel like they've almost gone too strong. I love strong fragrances, but this one to me, by the end of the day, I'd want to wash it off. It's super heavy, very much a cloying scent because it's tried to be a summer type fragrance. And I just think it needed to be toned down a bit. They do another one, Cacao Squared. I think this one could have been toned down a little bit more. But obviously, if you mind your spray it 2 or 3 times, it's going to be fine. But I wouldn't want to wear this back-to-back days because that vanilla in it is almost a little bit too sickly sweet by the end. And that's really why I didn't get those top marks, because it's the strongest one. If you want longevity in that sense, go for it. But I think you'll feel a bit uncomfortable wearing it by the end of the day. And then this one for me, obviously it's the winner today. Got 12 points out of the 30. The other two got 9. I really like this. Again, it's a collaboration set, and I was really critical of them initially because I have a bit of skepticism. When you've got collaborations, they tend to charge a little bit more. Are they going to smell a little bit gimmicky, smell like something that's meant to be related to the film or the program? So obviously Shaun the Sheep's meant to smell like freshly cut grass, mossy bottom. I think that's obviously where Shaun the Sheep resides. And, they've tried to replicate the smell of grass. I didn't want that, and this one doesn't. This one smells like an actual fragrance, and the vanilla at the base is great. It just tones down those green notes. And yeah, there's actually a very complicated note breakdown. When you look at it on the back, there's a lot going on in here. There's pink pepper, there's all sorts of things, cedarwoods, lemon oil, cardamom. And it just brings a lot of depth to it that you don't normally expect with Lush. As I said, their selling point is simplicity done well. This is anything but they've still done it very well. And I really recommend this phrase. Get it before it goes, because I don't think it will last forever. They move on to different collaborations all the time. But thank you very much for watching. 3 great vanilla scents, as I said, really enjoy them. Weather's not looking so good tomorrow, so it might be a slightly different video. I might review my candles, maybe that'd be a new idea. But yeah, appreciate all the support. Catch you later.